G'day guys, this is CW. Welcome to another video. In this video series, I'll be interviewing a number of sort of community members throughout the Ergo ecosystem, and today I have Gazza, the ErgoDex community manager. How are you, mate?
Not too bad, CW. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad whatsoever. I got a bit of a sway there, mate. Are you a bit nervous?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Haven't done this now in a long time, so I'll ease into it, see how it goes.
It's good to have you finally on camera.
Yeah, I've rescheduled this about 20 times. So I finally just had to suck it up and do it.
Exactly. So let's kick things off. Let's learn a little bit about Gazza. So how did you first sort of get into the crypto space?
So I got into it in around 2017. I was working on a site as an engineer, and there was a group of us all doing the same job, and we all kind of found it together. And that was at the start of a bull run. So we just spent all day, every day trading together, making a fortune, thinking we were gods.
Yeah.
And then in January, everything just crashed, and yeah, I kind of fell out of it then for a few years. Back in 2020, late 2020, I kind of was checking in every so often, and I saw then things were starting to move again. And I was like, all right, let's give it a second go and see how things are. And I got into Cardano. In Cardano, I was in Cardano for about 2 or 3 months when I found Ergo. Then that I went all in Ergo, aped in.
Yeah, that's the only way. Everyone who sort of knows Gazza throughout the community, he's a bit of an ape. Just leave it at that sort of terminology.
Yeah,
he doesn't do things by halves.
No, I wear it. I wear it like a badge of honor.
Yeah. So, yeah, you mentioned that you've discovered Ergo through the Cardano ecosystem. What time frame did you sort of start getting into Ergo?
So I think I was getting into Cardano fully in about January of 2021, I'd say. I kind of started buying. I think I did one big buy into Ergo, then maybe February, March, and then about a week later, I was like, just go for it. So I just went all in Ergo in about February or March then. So that turned out to be a good decision as well.
Yeah.
One of my few good decisions.
I think it was March when I sort of joined the Telegram socials, and that's when I sort of started chatting to you, I think it was. So I've known you for quite a bit of time now, and we've spoken sort of off camera a few times, or a lot of times actually. So I know you quite well. It's been built a pretty good friendship, I would say. So
yeah, for sure.
How'd the role come about for you to be able to sort of step into the community manager role on the ErgoDex team?
So I was around in all the socials of Ergo since probably the January, I think. And I was just learning as much as I could at that stage. I was answering questions around for a few months. Then when it came about May, I was still doing engineering, and it was kind of getting to the stage where I was going to be shipped up to a hotel for a number of months working. And I just decided, not doing this anyway. So I quit and I just went full time. I actually started learning Ergo script, but back at that stage, there was just very little material. That was before Deco and all that. So I kind of found it very difficult. So I was doing that for maybe a month or two. And then Yasha contacted me saying, look, he knows me from the ecosystem. Would I be interested in the role? And straight away I was like, of course, yeah.
The rest is history.
I need a job.
Yeah, well, you touched on your sort of your trained profession. Do you want to give us a little bit of a history on what you used to do as a profession?
Yeah, so I was an automation engineer. I did applied physics in college back in 2012, 2016. I worked as an engineer then for about 7 years. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It's just at the end, there was kind of a lot of travel and I thought I'd try something new for a while rather than living out of a hotel for months. So yeah, it gets old fast.
Yeah, it's a bit exciting heading away for a week or so at a time, but yeah, it does get old really fast being away from friends and family, etc.
That's it. And like you wake up on a Sunday or Monday morning at 5 a.m. to go up to the site. Then you're back Friday evening. Like, you only have one day really at home, 2 days, and you're back up again. So the thought of doing that for maybe 6 months, just I couldn't hack it.
So Yasha finally got in touch with you, and you decided to take the leap and jump into the ErgoDex side of things. How's that been for you?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, couldn't complain at all. It's like a dream job, to be honest. Kind of sit around all day, talk about crypto, talk a bit of nonsense with people. Definitely can't complain.
Put out some spot fires here and there.
Sorry?
Put out some spot fires here and there.
Oh, yeah. There's been a few of them. That's the fun times, though.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the best part of the job, when things are going wrong.
There's always a bit of excitement in crypto, isn't there?
That's it, yeah. Every day there's something anyway, at least.
So, touching on that, what's been your most exciting and then probably your most dreaded time being a community manager for ErgoDex?
The actual launches, I suppose, the main launch of Ergo was brilliant. Like, when we launched the full UI, and it's just after everyone testing on the beta with just, I don't know if you remember, it was just a white background.
Yeah, just that white screen.
Boxes. So going from that to a real UI, it was extremely satisfying. It felt like it was all coming together, and things were working, things were going good. I suppose bad times have been airdrops. The airdrop hunters have just been a nightmare a lot of the time. They've made life difficult, repeating the same question all day, every day, days on end, weeks on end,
across multiple sort of platforms as well.
Yeah, so that's been the worst of it. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of airdrops anymore now.
It's a good way, to build some interest, but it can be daunting at times having to sort of address all those community questions.
That's it, exactly. Yeah.
So we touched on the basic launch of ErgoDex. I think that was about September or so last year. The beta launch?
November. Was when we went to full kind of mainnet UI, I suppose. That was our full launch really back in last November,
Yeah, so I think the community was hanging out for that. One thing that was a bit of a sort of daunting time for you guys was the lack of a DApp connector or a reliable wallet in that sense. What did sort of Nautilus bring to the space for you guys when they finally brought a DApp connector, a usable DApp connector?
Yeah, well, they saved ErgoDex. Realistically, it wasn't usable with Yori. There was just syncing issues. We couldn't get people to swap. People couldn't load their wallets because all we're doing is reading from the wallet. That's all ErgoDex does. It doesn't like really do much on the blockchain. It just connects to the wallet, which lets you access the blockchain.
Yeah.
So if the wallet isn't working, then we can't do anything. So that was a nightmare, to be honest, because it didn't look good on us, but there was nothing we could do to speed up the process. We were in contact with Yori, and there was at least 4 updates they did that completely broke everything for us. So ErgoDex was down for days at a time, multiple times.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a pain, but Nautilus came along and somehow made everything work in was it a month?
It was, I think it was about 2 weeks thereabouts, 2 or 3 weeks. It was really fast.
They just decided I'll build the DApp connector, and I was like, this is going to take months, and just instantly it was just ready to go. I was like, all right, fair enough. I broke that a few times as well. You have a bit of a reputation for a quality tester. Yeah. Gazza coins have broken multiple wallets now at this stage.
So those who don't know, Gazza's got Gazza coin part 1, and was it part 2?
Yeah, part 1 was a failure. I minted the wrong amount, so I did Gazza coin part 2 for my own testing when I was learning ErgoScript. I don't know what happened. I think I put too many decimals and just keeps breaking everything.
It's pretty funny. Obviously, do some testing with Mr. Starfelger, and he's got a couple of Gazza coins, and I think you're the bane of his existence.
Yeah, did some floating point issues back in the day, and Nautilus had a few issues that I just couldn't make any transactions happen. Same reasons, I think, and the display length as well was kind of messed up on the UI of Nautilus. I think it was 2 separate versions of Nautilus that had issues.
So yeah, you did touch on sort of you're already sort of reflecting bad on ErgoDex, but then once Nautilus came along, you could see the sentiment change in the community by people actually realizing it wasn't ErgoDex that the issue wasn't lying with ErgoDex. Just having that usable DApp connector, swaps would go through just obviously within sort of 2 minutes or thereabouts with the block time on Ergo, or sort of in our case, if we do a swap on ErgoDex, we always hit a 20-minute block time or something silly like that. It's just
of course, when you're in a rush as well, like typical.
It's pretty uncanny that like whenever I sort of do a swap on ErgoDex, I just always hit like a 10-minute block time or something. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's happened. We've talked about this so many times. It seems to be every time we interact with it, it's just the same thing.
Yeah, it's funny. If you look at the Block Explorer or the Ergo Explorer, the Block Explorer, you could have 30 blocks all at like a minute block time or something. It's sure as shit. As soon as you sort of do one or put a transaction through, you hit that 10-minute sort of block.
Yeah, I've actually opened that as well to look, and it says average 2 minutes, and it's 2 minutes every time. Then there's just this one outlier, and it's just typical. That is the one, like every single time without fail. I have to go back and check to make sure I'm not crazy.
Yeah. So ErgoDex has had a pretty lively sort of life so far. Had sort of when it first came to conception, it actually got funding from the Cardano Catalyst side was it UI updates? I think it was, or UI development.
That was to actually build the kind of AMM algorithm for Cardano and Ergo is what I suppose, but mainly Cardano. So yeah, that development that took a lot longer than anyone expected, which seems to be a kind of common theme on Cardano. Really, smart contracts taking a lot longer than expected. So it was difficult. Tools were being updated as you go along. We started writing in Plutus, but that had to be changed to Plutarch. Only last, I think back in, was it maybe in January, we had to rewrite all contracts into Plutarch because we just couldn't fit within the memory limits.
Yeah.
So, but that seems to be changing now, at least with the new hard fork, the Vasil hard fork.
Yeah.
We should be able to go back to Plutus and should make life a bit easier and a bit more streamlined for everyone, because DeFi has only just started on Cardano, really. Like it's very early days. That's why we weren't trying to rush out a product that wasn't ready at the end of the day. We wanted something that we can stand behind and be happy with its performance.
Yeah, I think that's sort of forgotten in the crypto space actually, is people standing by their product and having the clear assumptions that everything's working as well as it can be. Obviously, you don't want to release something where there's sort of exploits or it's a bit buggy, because the reputation damage is massive, and then the potential to lose a lot of people's funds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we've been on the testnet for probably 2 months now. And I still get questioned every day, like, when's the testnet ending? It's like, we're not rushing it out just to get it out, just for the sake of it. It'll be done when we're happy everything is working 100%, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's no like, people don't have realistic expectations for timelines in crypto at all. I'd love to see them in a real job and see how long timelines can be for simple jobs. It can be years.
Yeah.
Crypto, it's in the scale of months, but that's still too long, because you see projects that are forks of other projects that can be released in a few weeks. But there's no innovation there. It's just copying and pasting, changing some parameters. Like that's not really engineering or innovation, you know?
Yeah. Change a few parameters and jazz the UI up a little bit, and then away you go.
Yeah, so it's not possible with UTXO or EUTXO at the moment. Everything's been done from the ground up for everyone. There's no place you can go to steal code. So everyone's in the same situation. But it also means that there's good engineers working on these projects, because they need to understand everything. They can't fall back on other people's work. So I think it is a good thing to start. Like, it has to start this way, but it is good for the ecosystem to build all these tools now that people will use going forward.
Yeah, exactly. And the cool thing about what you guys have done as well is you just mentioned the code side of things, and not basically starting from scratch. There's been no sort of development or DeFi in EUTXO, so everything's being built from the ground up. And one thing I really like about you guys is from day dot, it was open source. There's no hiding behind sort of the narrative of people wanting to copy your code or being first to market or anything like that. I think it just pays tribute to the sort of mindset of the Ergo developers and like Ilya, Yasha, etc. Just staying true to that open source principle.
Yeah, oh, definitely, because Ilya is our core developer, and he's also a core developer at Ergo. So the principles have come across from day one, as you said. So yeah, I think it's important. Like open source code, I know people can take it and reuse it, but at the end of the day, if they don't have the skills to develop it at the start, they're not going to have the skills to maintain it or improve on it.
Exactly.
So open source is good. It can help, but it can also help other developers. You need to be able to develop yourselves to improve or maintain. So it's not the end all to open source your code. I think I'm happier being able to go into GitHub and see things being worked on, see PRs being added a few times a day. It's good. It gives you confidence in a project, I think.
Oh, 100%. Obviously, the crypto industry can be sort of jazzed up on smoke and mirrors and hype, and obviously with no sort of proof of work in that sense of having an open Git, you don't know if anything's being developed on the back end. So having that sort of clear, open assumption that everything sort of is in development, you can jump on there and you've got that proof of work. It's amazing to see.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I'm happy with that anyway going forward. It won't be changing either going forward. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and the cool thing is it does help everyone. So one of the, well, I assume it's sort of like a perceived issue in the essence of the concurrency that sort of hit the Cardano side, but then obviously like Ilya had the batching solution sort of nutted out sort of months prior to that sort of all being released. So that was all on the GitHub. It was all open. So any of the sort of previous either the developers on the Cardano side could even sort of jump in there and see that sort of that resolution.
Yeah, I suppose that was the beauty of ErgoDex originally. It was done months in advance before even smart contracts were available on Cardano. So it was done. The team behind it had experience going into Cardano as well, because it has been difficult, I suppose, developing on two chains because it's twice the amount of work. Like the programming doesn't carry over at all, really. The ideas do, but the programming doesn't. It's just a different ecosystem. Yeah. So I would say like our developers themselves they're top notch. Like,
hats off has to go to those. They are. It's been mentioned a couple of times. They're developing two dexes on two different chains in two different functional programming languages, like simultaneously. Yeah. It's amazing. It's a huge undertaking.
Yeah, that's it. They're insane. Like they never stop working though. There's PRs going like daily, any hour at all. And I've seen loads go in at like 2 or 3 in the morning their time. Like it's ridiculous. On a Sunday night, maybe 2 a.m. there's PRs going in a lot.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy.
So that's the people you want on your side, and I'm sure you're sort of it instills the confidence in you to be able to sort of manage the community in that aspect.
Yeah, that's it exactly. Yeah, it makes my job a lot easier when you're not trying to hide anything going on in the background. It's open for everyone to look at, and it just makes I can just point people. Look at our GitHub. I don't have to try and hide anything. You can see everything for yourself, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So you guys actually have a proposal put together for this latest Catalyst round. I believe it's Catalyst 9. Do you want to give a bit of an explanation in regards to what sort of that entails?
Yeah. So at the moment, on layer 1 on both Cardano and Ergo, it's just going to be very difficult to build really complex systems. So we've put together something called Spectrum Network. It's an L2 solution. It's just going to allow us to do much more complex code. We'll be able to do proper order book. It'll be a lot faster, a lot cheaper. The groundwork is kind of getting started now. Everything's kind of placed out and we know what we're going to do. So I think with the proposal, we're giving it about 6 months and we're looking to get on a testnet in that 6 months between Ergo and Cardano. And then once we have 2 of them ready, we will be able to add more kind of adapters that'll bring other blockchains onto it as well. But that's going to be swapping native tokens then between them chains. So there's no wrap tokens with this or anything. So yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. I think we've kind of seen with development, we need this to go forward really. With the price of fees, with the speed of blocks, certain things become quite difficult unless you're on layer 2 really, with throughput and everything.
Yeah, it's the way to move forward as well, because you did touch on like the block speed, transaction times, having that batches, but then also being able to bridge between networks as well. That's massive.
Yeah. So hopefully like it's not going to be a kind of bridge in a standard sense that we're looking at now. So we've seen like the security implications of these kind of bridges at the moment with the current hacks and all that. So it'll be a different solution. So it'll be completely L2, which should help a lot, I think, definitely. So we'll see how that goes now. We'll be building it anyway, regardless. So.
Yeah, well, that's the cool thing about the sort of Ergo philosophy. They don't really care about what's happening on like the market situation or anything like that. It's just full steam ahead, and there's that whole external noise factor just doesn't tie into anything that the guys are doing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know they're in it for the right reasons.
100%. Yeah, like most of our team, I think, have had some part in Ergo as well, and we all do have a belief in the Ergo ecosystem. The manifesto is just one of the best reads you could ever have in crypto. Really gives you an idea of what it should be, but not what it is.
Yeah, well, that's the cool thing about Ergo as well. The community foundation is basically built around that manifesto, and I think the community holds that in really high regard. So that's what I really enjoy sort of when talking about Ergo, just talking about those principles, and then seeing community members just out in the open, in open discussions, sort of referring to that and upholding those principles. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
So you touched on Spectrum. Do you want to? Is that a little bit of a hint to rebranding? Is what's on that? What's the Spectrum front?
Yeah, we are rebranding. ErgoDex has just been a bit of a confusing topic for quite a while now. We've had a lot of people saying to us like, "What's the Dex and Cardano going to be called?" And I've had to answer, "It's ErgoDex," which is just confusing. But we've had this in the works for a while now, but we're nearly ready to go now. I think in the next maybe month, a bit over it, we should be completely finished, ready to go, and we'll reveal what we're going to change to update to. So it's complete rebrand, everything.
Awesome. So what sort of time frame are we looking at? Is it the standard Gazza soon?
Yes. I got a bit closer. So roughly a month, maybe a month and a half, we'll say around that. But just soon will do. It's gotten me out of a lot of tough questions.
It's pretty funny watching you sort of in the ErgoDex, but even just on the Ergo platform, sort of Telegram channels and bits and pieces, and it's just the standard response is soon.
Yeah, I just for everything really, or one of my few gifts that I use on repeat, on loop.
Yeah, so that's a pretty funny thing as well, is the Gazza bot. There's been a few sort of I guess you could say comedy of errors in regards to the sort of the Gazza bot sort of running around. It's pretty funny to watch.
Yeah, it's kind of all came about naturally. So it's pretty funny. We'll see Gazza bot back at some stage, I'm sure. Maybe on mainnet Cardano now, but it'll have to come back, because the questions will be on the loop again, the same questions 100 times a day. So Gazza bot will have to come back.
Well, that's pretty exciting times for ErgoDex, or for Spectrum now, I guess you could call it. What's the future hold? Obviously, I think it's going to be a pretty bright future for you guys. How are you sort of looking at it internally?
We're excited. I think Spectrum is the goal now. Get launched on Cardano. We'll get a bridge in the short term with Rosenbridge. We're going to bridge Cardano and Ergo anyway, initially, but then it's full steam ahead with Spectrum. So I think that's what we want to do going forward. We'll be able to build any sort of DeFi tools with that. So at the moment, there's not enough options that we want to build with standard layer 1. So with layer 2, we can really look into things like option vaults and like lending protocols, and there's a lot of stuff we can do, a lot more complex contracts. So
that's exciting.
That's the main goal, and I suppose that'll be our goal for the next few years. It's going to be a very, very big undertaking. So we're not going to give a 2-month ETA because it's just not going to take that long. It is going to be a few years in development, definitely.
Yeah.
People won't like that, but if you want to build something right and make it last long term, then that's what it needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. And then with the potential for even billions of dollars sort of running through the platform, obviously, yeah, you have to have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, and make sure that everything's sort of in line in that respect.
Yeah, that's it exactly.
Yeah, so you've been involved in the Ergo ecosystem for some time now. What sort of DApps or anything like that you're looking forward to that's running sort of on the Ergo side of things?
I'm actually really looking forward to GWAPSwap. Yep. So I do mine a lot. I don't mine at the moment because it's just too warm, and I'm in the same room. I'm sleeping in the same room as my 2 PCs. Yeah. One has a 3080 and one has a 2070 Super. So they go on, and it's unbearable at the moment. So I'm hoping for a better living situation pretty soon now, and I'll be able to turn them back on and get mining again. But yeah, I love the idea of being able to swap to, say, once we get our bridges going, swap to a number of different tokens from different chains. That's just, I think that's amazing. That's really cool.
The cool thing I like about sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, just with GetBlock as well, smart pools, just with sub pools, it's just an amazing bit of technology, the whole thing.
Yeah, that's one thing that I'm really looking forward to sort of seeing just grow in the ecosystem is the smart pools, and ultimately I'd love to see an actual project launch via work through one of their sub pools. So that'd be pretty cool to see. One of the cool features I actually like about GWAPSwap is the potential to actually say mine a portfolio, so you can set up your rewards, like say once we have like say BTC or the blue chips sort of in our ecosystem, you can say mine 50% BTC or 25% Ergo, and you can basically mine a portfolio. I think that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've actually been chatting with the GWAPSwap developer. I think he's looking into adding token to token kind of swaps as well. So that's going to be really interesting. I think at the moment it's just ERG. You can swap to something else, but he's looking into token to token or token to ERG even with sub pools. So that's another huge addition to GWAPSwap. So yeah, I think that and GetBlock working together is just, we're ready to take the majority of the hash power from the crypto ecosystem, from Ethereum, hopefully. I think we're ready for it. Arminio built a solid base with all the pools he got ready over the last year. So it'll be good to see it.
Yeah, a lot of credit has to go to Arminio in that respect as well, because he had the foresight to be able to see ultimately this sort of coming to fruition, like the ETH 2.0 or the merge or whatever they're calling it now. So whenever that sort of does come, so I don't know.
whenever
that does come, I think
soon.
Yeah, soon. I think Ergo's pretty well positioned there. So I think the ecosystems are set up. There's a number of sort of mining pools, but then also they have this on-chain infrastructure as well. So I think we'll be sitting pretty in that respect.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, the next 2 years now, Ergo, like where we've come from when I joined Ergo, is just an amazing difference. You couldn't say they're the same ecosystems. When I joined, I think the only DApp was the Mixer when I joined, I think. Like now you look at Sigmaverse and it's just insane. I don't even recognize half the projects anymore. I can't keep up anymore.
Yeah. So I try and keep my finger on the pulse doing these weekly developer updates. So have a little bit of an insight there, but there's still so many things that sort of don't provide the updates or regular updates. And there's things popping up left, right, and center. And one that sort of just popped up out of nowhere is the Kaching sort of the notification service. I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, you can see
Sigma Valley Ilya, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, yep.
Fake Ilya or not her Ilya originally?
I think it was set up as fake Ilya. Yeah,
fake Ilya.
Obviously, that's a play with the ErgoDex Ilia or the Ergo Ilia.
That was just at the beginning of Sigma Valley, or even before Sigma Valley. Actually,
that was before, yeah. So we've had a few sort of funny instances like that throughout the ecosystem over the time. And everyone's in good faith as well. Everyone has a laugh in regards to all that as well. It's cool.
Yeah, that's it. It's just a great community. You could spend all day every day with it and not get sick of it. And I've had one of the best years I've ever had, just meeting everyone in the community, chatting with everyone every day. It's just been a great experience.
Yeah, it's funny as well, isn't it? Like yourself and myself, we've both sort of quit our jobs, and like I've closed a business and bits and pieces like that, and now we're sort of full-time Ergo or ErgoDex in your case, and you quit a 9-to-5 job, but then you end up working 16-hour days doing this sort of stuff. Yeah. But it doesn't feel like that whatsoever. It's pretty cool.
No, just happier doing it. 100%. Like counting your best. We text each other. We've said it at least 10 times. Like it's just like living a dream. Like
Yeah.
We're both in the same boat. You're pinching ourselves. You're doing this as like a job. You can live off it. It's crazy. Like.
Yeah, it's pretty life changing and big leap of faith. Obviously, crypto markets are pretty volatile and everything in that respect as well. So, it's exciting. It's really cool to watch, to see the ecosystem grow. Being hands on in the community, basically 24/7. Having that ability to be able to have coverage and all that sort of stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. I wouldn't change it anyway.
So what else did you want to touch on in regards to Ergo? Obviously, we've just had our Ergo hacks and everything like that.
I don't know much to say really, I suppose. And just what I'm looking forward to now is just getting launched on Cardano. That's a big one for us anyway, moving forward. Then, because once we have that finished, we're done. The bridge will be the top priority, I suppose. And I think we all need a bridge. We need bridges out of Ergo. I think it's essential for the ecosystem to grow anymore, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely Rose and Bridge now, and kind of keeping a close eye on that. Really looking forward to that being released. And I think it's probably testnet pretty soon.
I believe it's on Cardano testnet in sort of like a modular fashion. So they're testing sort of different segments of the bridge sort of framework, and then obviously once everything's sort of nutted out, they'll join it all together and do some sort of cross-chain checks and all bits and pieces like that. I believe that's the last update that I had from MHS.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing that all come together and he said he'd be showing some kind of tangible results in the next probably few weeks. So yeah, that's what I'm really looking forward to at the moment.
Yeah, exciting. So any last words, mate, you want to sort of touch on?
No, I suppose I just want to say thanks to everyone for helping us get where we are. We are here for the community. We wouldn't be here without them. We need testers, we need volume. And that's all done by the community. We can't fake that ourselves. As I was saying, we don't have access to anyone's wallets. We just kind of talk to it with a DApp connector. So we need users at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So just keep using ErgoDex. We'll keep improving. Once we have our layer 2, we'll see a huge difference as well. There'll be a lot more options. We'll just keep getting better over time.
Yeah, awesome. Very well said, mate. And then on that note, we might wrap this up, and I'm sure we can get on and chat at another stage once the Spectrum side of things or the bridge and networks all set up, and then discuss ErgoDex further. So thanks very much for your time, mate. We'll wrap this up, and thanks for everyone watching. Cheers, guys.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
Best of luck.